song now. Here we come, one human family. To the moon, one human family. On to Mars, one human family. Asteroids, one human family. Jupiter, one human family. Saturn's rings, one human family. Oort cloud, one human family. Kuiper belt, one human family. Pluto, one human family. Hey, Kimball, where you at? Oh, my people, ladies and gentlemen. And you know how it goes? It goes to the moon, on to Mars, Jupiter, asteroids, Saturn's rings, Kuiper belt, Pluto, planet 9, Oort cloud. And now we're interstellar, all over the universe, you and me, traveling in space, bringing humankind, making a space kind. What a future, can you imagine it? That's why we're here, that's what we're gonna do today. Wow. That song, you make it yours by deciding on where you wanna go. You could go to the store, one human family. On to work, one human family. Back to school, one human family. All the way up, one human family. All the way back down, one human family. See, you make it yours. That song is yours. I open it up. We can put anything. Now, I like to the moon, onto Mars, asteroids, Jupiter, Saturn's rings, Kuiper belt, Pluto, planet 9, Oort cloud. That's how I run it. To the moon, onto Mars, asteroids, Saturn's rings. To the moon, no, yes. To the moon, onto Mars, asteroids, Jupiter, Saturn's rings, Kuiper belt, Pluto, planet 9, and Oort cloud. Yes, it's a lot. That's a big adventure. That's the human adventure in our solar system that you get to be part of. That's the game. That is what we have in action. I don't even know if it's a game. Probably some sort of new thing. What if we invented something that take the places of games? What if there was something more interesting than games? Have you ever invented something that is even more interesting than a game? Maybe you're going to be the person that invents the thing that we start playing after we stop playing games. I don't know. These are ideas, and ideas are fun to play with, and that's all I know about ideas. When I was you, I came up with a lot of them, and hopefully you come up with a lot more. Looks like a new TV is being put in right here. I got some of the equipment. And, oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Mongo, pow, and I know who you are. You are a future space explorer from planet Earth that I call a human-aire. And you know better than anybody alive that space is for everybody. And you are always thinking, how am I helping? How am I helping? That's what you're always thinking. And above all, wherever you go, you're going to take one idea with you wherever you go. It could be to the moon, Mars, asteroids, Jupiter, Saturn, Kuiper belt, Pluto, planet 9, or Oort cloud. The idea that you carry with you is that everything always works out. If you take away anything from Mike Mongo's Astronaut Adventures, oh, hi, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Mongo, pow. Mike Mongo's Astronaut Adventures. If you take away anything, you got to take away that space is for everybody. How am I helping? And here's the big one. Everything always works out. It's only 4 words. Even when it doesn't, even contrary to the appearances of otherwise. Even contrary, even when it doesn't look like everything works out. even when it doesn't seem like it's possible that everything works out. That's the most interesting thing about the phenomenon of life and reality and the universe. The phenomenon of life, reality, and the universe is that everything always works out. 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 Got it? Most important thing. I like to add to that, the truth makes me laugh, but that's like next level stuff. So everything always works out. The truth makes me laugh. Ignore alien orders, and it's not that serious. Listen, if we're here and we're not having a good time, we're not having fun, and we're not, and then what's the point? What is the point? So you ever have a test that you didn't do good on? I did. You're probably smarter than me. I don't have any doubt about that. And nonetheless, I had tests that I did not do good on. It happened. It happened. And I felt like a failure. And then you know what happened? The very next day where I experienced some success, or the next minute, or the next hour, or the next conversation. Failure happens. I'm not stressed about that. It actually is part of the process. I don't know why we kind of separate it. Like we call the part of the process where it doesn't work out the way we want it to work out failure. That's what we call failure. It's just working out in a way that we weren't expecting or didn't want it to work out. And who doesn't learn from failure? Only people destined to repeat it. That means you've made a commitment to repeat it. I've made a commitment. If I didn't learn from a failure, I'm going to do it again. And I don't even have to do the failure to learn from it. The truth is that this is super interesting. I don't have to do the failure to learn from it. I can learn from other people's failures. I think that's like the most amazing thing about this thing we call failure. Failure. Overrated. Undervalued. Overrated means we put too much importance on success or failure. And then undervalued means we don't give it enough worth, because I wouldn't be here today without failure. Oh my gosh. Failure is the thing that allows me to communicate with you intelligently. Like, I only got here because of all the mistakes I've made. And I presume that that's the case for everybody else who is successful, like you. You're here right now. You're smart enough to turn on the YouTube and watch this. You could be watching, what's that? Five Nights with Freddy. You could be watching Peppa Pig. You could be watching Minecraft videos. You could be watching Fortnite videos. You could be watching any of that stuff. But here you are, smart. That's how smart you are. You already made success in your life. That's simple. So, failure is overrated and undervalued. Like, people are like, oh, it's the worst thing in the whole world. I failed. Oh my goodness. Can I tell you what? Once upon a time, here's a story. Here's a little story I got to tell. I was in third grade. No, maybe younger. Very young. Younger than third grade. Yes, I was. And one of the teachers asked if I wanted a jellyfish, a big giant jellyfish in a glass jar, because that's how we used to store these things in science class. And I was like, yes. Now, if you think that my mom wanted a big, fat, heavy, stinky jellyfish for me to bring home and slosh all over the place because it wasn't even sealed. It was just a lid on top of it. And plus, I was like 7. There's no way I could carry this thing. It was ginormous. It was bigger than my head. And I told the teacher I wanted it. And the teacher I still look back, I'm like, why did that teacher ask a 7-year-old if they wanted a big jellyfish in a jar? However, I said yes. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I actually don't know what I'm going to do. I said yes. And so then I hid. I was so like, oh my God, I said yes. And I can't do it, and because the teacher said, whatever you do, don't leave that jellyfish in there. What a crazy thing to say. This is the craziest story. And maybe it's just one of these grown-ups that was teaching me a lesson. Maybe I was a little full of myself at that time. Do you think that that's possible? You ever You ever think that you can do anything, anything, and we kind of push ourselves like we're not even close to doing what we were talking about? Because there was no way that I could have carried this jellyfish in a jar. No way. I can't even tell you, it was at Starkey Elementary. And me and my buddy Scott, went there. And that moment stays with me even to today. Because I left the room, left it in there, even after I told the teacher that I was going to take it. And then the teacher caught me. When I'm doing this is like quotation marks. It means like didn't really catch me and caught me, because didn't really catch me because I wasn't really doing anything wrong, so I couldn't be caught. So caught. And then said, "Oh, you said you were going to take the jellyfish." I was like, "I know. I'm sorry." And I felt so disappointed in myself. I let the teacher down. You ever get that feeling? So that is the kind of failure that I'm talking about. And that is the kind of thing that is totally overcomable. Totally. And that's the, and another thing is I learned from that lesson even today. I'm 55 and this happened when I was 7. That's 48 years ago. Pow. Arithmetic live in person. So you're going to experience some of these failures. Hello, sunshine. I like you. You're going to experience failures. You get to experience failures. I'm not warning you. I'm like, oh my gosh, wait to experience some of these amazing failures that we have as opportunities here in life. Letting people down is certainly one of those opportunities. It happens. And we learn from it, or else we don't learn from it and we do it again. And then maybe we learn from it that time. You ever do something and mess it up and then do it again? Good. It makes me feel not smart. But that's part of life. You're not the first one to do that. I'm not the first to do that. I'm not the first one to do that. I'm certainly not the first one to do that. And I've certainly done it plenty of times exactly like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you made a mistake before? Right? Have you ever told somebody the untruth? Have you ever lied? Isn't that the worst? Ugh. And then, oh gosh, have you ever lied and then had to hide the lie? Oh, or felt like you had to? There's those quotation marks again, had to. You didn't really have to, but you did, so then you felt like you had to. Well, that's not the way to do anything. But we learn from that experience. And hopefully we learn, the younger you are when you learn these important lessons, the better it is when you're older, because these lessons are so much more intense. They're more powerful when you're older. When you're younger, you get the chance to learn them and get it out of the way. And you're like, oh, I got that. Don't lie. That's going to cause problems if I do that. However, if we don't learn that when we're you, learning it when you're me is a very expensive lesson. You can lose something really important. You can lose a friend. I don't know anything worse than losing a friend. So, fortunately, we can make up for it. Have you ever got to apologize to somebody before? You ever got to apologize to a friend or somebody that you love? And did they forgive you? Has anyone ever apologized to you? Have you ever forgiven someone? Isn't that the best? And then when it works out, when we learn from our mistakes, it's really, really pretty good. So this is what I'm saying. Like, failure is overrated and undervalued. Overrated and undervalued. Failure is important. And it's funny because I'm not really talking about failure today. You probably think that I'm talking about failure today. I bet you probably think that I'm talking about failure today. I'm not. You are mistaken. Pow. Here's what I'm talking about today. Perseverance. Don't stop. Especially when it seems like you almost failed. Don't stop until you actually failed. And just keep going. And even after you failed, if it's something important, you're going to keep on. Did you ever see Avengers, the Endgame, with Captain America and he's fighting Thanos and it looks like he lost? But he didn't quit, remember? Like, that's the point of that. It's not because he's Captain America. It's because he persevered. He's got perseverance. He was resolute. Remember our SMART formula? Skills, manners, actions, resolute, or resolve, and teamwork. But perseverance is being resolute. He was determined. Or Wonder Woman. Did you ever see Wonder Woman's movie? She wasn't going to give up. She was fighting to save all human beings. That's important. And there's things we do that are worth persevering, worth having resolve. That is, I've decided, and that's how it's going to be. I'm not stopping. I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up like in a foot race. Sometimes people persevere through, like, you ever run and it feels like you're going to be out of breath and you can't run another step, but you keep on going. And then suddenly you find a new place where you're like, how was I tired just like a second ago? And that's called running through the wall. When you run through the wall. Because when we run, we call it hitting a wall. And we're not actually hitting a wall, but it feels like we're hitting a kind of a wall. So we say hitting a wall. And then we pass through it. And then we're off and running once again. I love that feeling. It's not just about running. The wall can be anything. It could be something that, like when when you want to be an astronaut, you want to be a space explorer. You're a human heir. You're the next generation of space explorer from planet Earth. You're going to go to space and get a perspective about the value of the Earth. You're going to see it in a whole different way, and you're going to bring it back and you're going to share it with people. And there's going to be days where it seems like you're not going to get to do it. It's not going to work out. You failed. I love that one. You ever have an idea in your head that tells you that you failed? Like, who's that? What's that all about? That's a liar. That's a liar. You're not good enough. You can't do it. You won't make it. Man, woman. When I hear that, and I have heard that before, like when I would look for my keys. Okay, so like my keys are wherever they are. Exactly. So whenever I look for my keys, oh yeah. So here's a key right here. So whenever I would look for a key, I'd be like, where did I leave that key? And then this little voice would show up in my head and be like, what are you, stupid? You don't know where your key is? What are you, stupid? And now I'm trained myself so that if I'm like, look, I'm like, man, I gotta go, yo. Where's my keys? Where are my keys? And then that little voice shows up. What are you, stupid? I'm like, whoa. And I just sit down. I'm not kidding. I sit down. I sit down just like this. I'm like, we don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to play. If we're not working together as a team, all my feelings and all my thoughts, then I'm not going anywhere. Because I don't talk to myself I don't let other people talk to me that way, especially now at 55. I don't let people talk to me like that, so why would I talk to myself like that? And this is part of perseverance, getting through that part. Because people say we're our own worst enemy. We're our own worst enemy. So we're not really our enemy, but some of the things we do seems like we're working against ourselves. But I stop that. I do not let that happen. And I empower you to do the exact same thing. I want you to know this. When you hear the little voice of concern, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Listen, we can quit anytime. Why quit now? We can quit anytime. We can quit anytime. Why quit now? We can quit in the future. So why quit now? Yeah, it's hard. Yes, it's hard. Is it hard getting in space? Is it hard being the next generation of space explorer? Is it going to be difficult? Are you going to be in a competition with other people sometimes? Yes. Is that okay? Yes. 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 Show your character. Show how you're a helper. Show how you care. Show your manners. People have got ahead of me before who are mean. That's happened. What, am I supposed to be mean and see if that's going to get me where I want to go? It's not going to. It's not worth it. Remember how my mom died like almost 2 years ago in October? I told you about that. My mom, so she's always kind of watching me, So why would I want to disappoint her? Because she raised me better than that. And even the stuff that she didn't raise me, she didn't give to me, the values that she didn't give to me that I went and learned on my own, I went and learned them on my own. Remember my friend B. Johnson, my mentor? And I always think, what would B. Johnson think about what I'm doing right now? Like right now, me talking with you, what would B. Johnson think? I can tell you this, he's proud of me. I'm certain of that, and that's the best feeling. And I want you to have that feeling. And it's really simple. What would Mike Mongo think about this? Gimbal. That's a really simple one. Like if you have a question about your behavior, about your actions, like is it a good action or is it a bad action? Like stealing, bad, no way. Now I have to tell you, listen to this. I'm from Key West, right? And we got mango trees all over the place. And sometimes people leave their mango trees. They're not on the island and the mangoes are falling on the ground. What am I supposed to do? Is it stealing if I eat the mangoes off the ground that are going to go bad? That's a good question. We have to answer that question for ourselves. And my friends know my answer to that question. Sweet, juicy mangoes. My mouth is watering just thinking about those mangoes that are on the ground that somebody is just letting go bad. See what I mean? We get to take responsibility for our actions. We get to take responsibility. Now, here's the thing. Because I help a lot of people, I get away with a lot sometimes. Like getting away with a lot. Do you think it's getting away eating mangoes that have fallen on the ground? Kind of. It could be. In some places, that's a crime. In some places, that's a crime. Oh my gosh, thank goodness that's not Key West. But in other places it is. So we have to think about where we are. Just because we are one way in one place doesn't mean it's the same thing in another place. And that's just respectful. However, it's the second however. If you're somewhere, let's say you're in Ohio and there's a bunch of apples falling on the ground and nobody's eating them and nobody's around. I mean, it's our work. We all share this world together. I saw a thing because of quarantine. We threw away tons and tons of potatoes. I'm like, wow, I know for sure there's people hungry around the world and we can't figure out how to ship those potatoes instead of throwing them away. So yeah, we're all here and we all share in this stuff. And just because it happens to be growing in your yard, if you're not using it or you're throwing away, well, I think fair is fair. So that's that. That's how I take it. Now, if you made something really awesome, or if you had something that was dear to you, like maybe you had a nice special ring that your mom or your dad or your grandmother or your grandfather gave to you, and I took it, or somebody took it, that's not right. That's different. That didn't grow on a tree. Somebody worked for that. Somebody gave that to you. That's different. That's different. And that's why when I find stuff that somebody has lost, I try and find the owner. Because I would want them to try and find it if it was my thing that got lost. If I find something that got lost, it's not automatically mine. I want to find out who it belonged to. Maybe it's thrown away and they don't want it. That's different. However, like if people have lost wedding rings before and then people find it and then get it back to them, and you know how happy those people are that get their wedding ring back. And so, this it goes right back to perseverance. Like if you lose something and you give up on looking for it, well, that's that. sometimes it's worth giving up. I lost a bunch of pictures, photographs in Canada. I gave them to my friend James, and he was moving, and he was looking out for them for me. And one thing led to another, and they got left behind somewhere. And so in Montreal, I lost a box of photos and videos and audios. And this is like this is 15 years ago, and I still think about it. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I can't really, that's not the important thing in life. So I kind of sent a message to James and said, James, I forgive you, man. You know, things happen. It's okay. He's a good songwriter. And who knows, maybe one day that stuff will show up. But I let it go, because that's not the important stuff. Now, I'm bringing this all back around. If I'm working on something, a project, and I give up on it like that, that would be the bad kind of giving up. If I'm working on a goal and I give up on it just because it's difficult, that is also the bad kind of giving up. That's not the kind of giving up we want to do. Sometimes we get knocked on our feet and then we got to get back up. When you learned how to ride a bike, did you automatically know how to do it? For instance, people get on crutches or in wheelchairs. We don't automatically know how to do anything. I got a buddy, Eric, and he plays rugby in a wheelchair. He's wheelchair rugby, and he's fierce, man. And he may be older now. I don't know if he's retired at wheelchair rugby, but when he played, he was a boss, and he didn't automatically get that way. He got to practice, just like you get to practice. There's something that you want to do. You go for it. You practice. If you fall, you pick yourself back up. You're expected to fail. We are expected to fail. Failure is not an end. It's just like a place in the road. It's like a trip or a stumble. And we just keep on going. And then we learn to pick up our feet so we don't trip or stumble again. You ever have anybody say, pick up your feet when you're tripping a bunch of times? Yeah, so like life and projects and stuff are like that. When you want something, you persevere. Push through the wall. Push through the failure. Push through the difficulties. This should be a red word. You know how I like to write. Persevere. Persist. Resolve. Commit. It's easy for me to write these things down. It's not easy to do these things. However, it is simple. It is not easy. It is simple. Nothing worth doing is easy. Everything worth doing is hard. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. That's the key. And that's why having these things, just by deciding that you're going to go to space, you've already made it. You've taken an action. You've made a decision. And then once you commit to that decision, you're resolute. And then you persevere. You push through, and you persist. You do not stop. Persevere means to go through it, go through the wall, go through failure. Persist means I'm not stopping. Keep going. Resolve, that is determining. You're just like, I'm going, I'm doing it. And commit. That's the decision. There's my goal. I'm going for it. I'm committing. Commit. That's the idea that I'm going to do this. I'm committing. And these all work together. You can see how they complement one another. They're all the same, similar, and they're all different. and they all work together as one. Fantastic stuff. And I want you to have that. Carry with you, everything always works out. Remember, space is for everybody. And I'm not just talking about it's anybody could go to space. We all get to go to space. That is the thing that we've already been playing games. So whatever we were doing before is different than what we're doing now. Everybody gets to go to space. That's how we're going to get Earth to be the place that we want it to be, with space for everyone, with enough for everyone. It really does have enough. We as grown-ups, when you get to be me, the organization of all these resources that are all of ours to share gets to be more effective, better distribution, so that there's not tons and tons of potatoes being thrown away on one side of the world when people are going hungry on the other side of the world. That's simple stuff. And it's the future, and you're here, I'm here. We are more than capable of figuring this out. There's no reason whatsoever that some people should have too much and too many, or any people should not have enough. I mean, enough means enough to live, enough to sleep, enough to have clothes, enough to have at least some basic medical. You know, if you get a cut, we should all be able to go and have medical, because we got enough. It's not difficult you're going to handle this. If it's a difficult thing for me to communicate this with a grown-up, that's fine. That's why I'm having this conversation with you, because you as a student, as a young student, are smarter than all of us, because you understand this stuff. If there's stuff on one side of the world, we can move it to the other side of the world so that it's evenly distributed, at least enough to live. It doesn't have to be fair. It just has to be enough. That's a start. Shelter, water, clean water. We can't make people pay for air or water. We can't. It doesn't work out. That's how we create these ideas of scarcity, like there's not enough and there's clearly enough. And by getting to the place where we don't have scarcity, we get through the illusion of scarcity, we get to a place where everybody gets to go to space. And then all these people who want to be overly rich, they can be overly rich as long as everybody has enough. You can be overly rich and everybody has enough at the same time. We can have both those experiences. But we can't be a place where some people have way too much and a lot of people don't have even enough. And so this is not a new idea, this particular idea, and we're persevering with it. We're persisting, we're resolving, we're committing. This is how we get to a space is for everybody place. And space being for everybody is going to give us a perspective where we see the whole world, that it's all one big world and we all live here together. Like as we say in Key West, all people, it's Friday by the way, all people are created equal members of one human family. We get to work this out. That is something better than a game. A game, I've always liked, the thing I like about games is they're fun. The thing that is really, as a grown-up, loses my attention about games is that after I'm done with it, the world is in a better place. So let's combine these two ideas. Like once upon a time, I combined astronaut and teacher. I was loving being a teacher and I wasn't yet an astronaut, so I combined astronaut teacher. So let's combine game and making the world a better place. Let's combine this and create a new thing where we play the game, and the consequence of the game, the payoff is that it works out for everybody. A game so good that it works out for everybody. Come on, you can do this. Super intelligent human being I'm talking to right now, live in person. You're hearing my voice, I'm talking to you. And so you get to carry with you a couple ideas. How am I helping? I want you to think about that in every situation. Everything always works out. You get to carry that with you everywhere. Don't ever let anyone confuse you about that. Even yourself. And space is for everybody. Without that idea, we're not going to get the perspective necessary to solve how to distribute the resources appropriately for everybody to have at least enough here on planet Earth. The most wonderful, miraculous, splendid, superlative, excellent, awesome, spectacular, splendid, did I say splendid yet? Experience in the universe that we know of. This place right here. And we can understand that by going to space. All of us. Send leaders to space. Send farmers to space. Send sheep herders to space. Send buffalo herders to space. Send knitters to space. People who knit. Sewers. People who sew. Embroiderers. People who embroider. Artists, plenty of artists, lots of artists. Send artists to space, artists to space, artists to space, lots of artists and artists to space, artists to space, artists to space, lots of artists and artists to space, artists to space, artists to space, lots of artists and artists to space, artists to space, artists to space. Got it? This is your objective. We're combining the idea of game and something really fun, and that what we get from playing this particular world game, whatever it is, like Buckminster Fuller called it the world game, and Herman Hesse called it the glass bead game. Whatever game we're playing, whatever game it is, the consequence or the results of it is that everybody has enough. Enough! Doesn't have to be too much, just enough to live. Some shelter, some clothes, some food, some drink, some life. The ability to live, have a family, basic stuff. These are basic things. Most people don't want more than that, you know. And we're at a place where everybody could have a smartphone. We are there. And not that maybe too much technology in the world as it is. But everybody should be able to call in case there's a lion or something and they need help. Mike, there's an elephant trying to get in my house. Can you come over and help me out? I'll be like, yeah, I'll be right there. You can do this. We can do this. This is the objective. This is the dream. There's going to be failure. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be argument. And there's an important saying, and that is that there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be arguments. When you have a good idea. First they ignore you. Then they laugh at you. Then they fight you. Then you win. First they ignore us. Then they laugh at us. Then they fight us. And then we win together, not against anyone. When we win, everybody wins. Even when people are fighting against the idea of what we're talking about right now, it's okay. This works out for everybody. We don't need war. We need peace. We don't need war. We don't need war. That's a waste. Look at all the money we're spending on war. Google. Buy Google. Like, we could be using that resources for everything. And you know what made me think about this? Is like, if you or me had to represent all of Earth and humankind to another species, another human species from another world, what would we tell them? Yeah, we spent a lot of money on weapons. Okay, can we get over that? Can we figure that out? I think there's probably a better way to do stuff than that. And so that could be part of the game, figuring out a better way. And this is how this whole idea, this conversation, this idea came about as, this is the 40th episode of Mike Mongo's Astronaut Adventure. Let's put that down. What color is 40? Oh, man. I love all of these colors. Sometimes it leaks. 4. Who doesn't like orange? Orange reminds me, in the U.S., it reminds me of Halloween, which is always a fun holiday if you like costumes, and candy, which I like both. 40th episode. And you know what? It's, like I said, artists matter. Artists matter. 40th episode of Mike Mongo's Astronaut Adventures. 40th episode of Mike Mongo's Astronaut Adventures. Congratulations, you made it. The whole program, bam, gets to one place, boom. Everything always works out. How am I helping? Space is for everybody. Pow, pow, pow. I'd probably say it like this. I would probably say, space is for everybody. How am I helping? And everything always works out. Because I start with the least important and I move to the most important. And everything always works out is the most important because you get to carry that with you wherever you go. You take it with you. Here, this has been the most amazing experience. I don't know if it's over. All I know is I'm really impressed that we got here. Holy smokes, I didn't expect to get to this is Spaceship Studio. Remember when we did the outline? This is the Apollo 11 lunar lander. This is how big it was. I think this is a lunar lander. I could be, I think it's probably not. It's probably the capsule that got us to the moon, if I recall correctly. This is how big it was. Remember when we did that? We did that here, me and you together. Three people existed in here, in this space. And that's why I taped it off, so you can have an idea of what it would be like to have a space capsule. This is not the thing that I want to live in permanently. And even in this Spaceship Studio that I've got right here, like it's enough space, but this is not like I'd like to spend 8 months going to Mars in a space this large. That would be, I mean, and what if I was, in a space, like it's not this big. It's not this big. I just want to go up to space, look at Earth, come back down and fix everything. Knowing that all lives, all histories, all stories have taken place on this planet that we can look at from space, this place. And understand, oh wow, this is a precious, dear, amazing, miraculous place. We get to take care of it. That's what it means to be a human heir. It took us 40 episodes to get to this place. I'm glad you made it. I am glad you made it. You've been with me this entire time. This classroom that we put together and put out on YouTube, live. And then edited and told stories and shared ideas and dreams and visions and how I see you. Gosh, I love you. I love you from all the way through time and space, through history, from the beginning to the end. This love is real. Love is the reason we are here as human beings. When people ask you what is the purpose of life, it is to love. You can feel free to explain it to them. You're smart. You're smart, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're funny, you're good to have around, you're a good friend. You learn well, you listen well. You're a fantastic artist. Oh, should we draw a space cat? Look. Come on, let's draw a space cat. The one thing I just want to know is the space cat's nose. There was one. I remember the nose, but it's the actual mouth. So I'll just do a quick look at the cat face. Remember, this is our famous cat. That's the one we looked at, but this is the one that made us laugh. And why they always show orange cats? What's with that? What's with the all cat faces are orange? Give me a break. All right, so it is that little. All right, so I got it. All right, so there's that. I got it. Here we go. Yeah, and this is, remember repetition, how we practice this stuff? Yeah, okay. This little part right here. I said I was going to figure out how to make the cat smile, and then some nostril, a little nostril. And then, if I recall correctly, we had some chin. And the chin was really cool because I figured out how to do it. It's like this, and like this. And then this goes up here, and then we got the cheekbone. And then we go up here. And then we got, this is how, remember last time I did the same thing with making the cat's face a little wide. A little skinny right here, a little wide right here. So I'm going to bring it and make it a little full figured right here. round. All right, cool. All right, and then some these. Wait, this I think is a little too full figured. No runs, no drip, no error. So I gotta be careful here. Wow, I did it. Be as careful at the end is at the beginning. What is nearly finished is nearly spoiled. Oh my Google, I did it. Okay, cool. Wow, it worked. All right, cool. So if I recall correctly, it was actually like this. And then like this. So now, since these whiskers are right here, I like to draw over whiskers. Okay, cool. And so then the eyes, Space Cat, remember? I'm making them a little wider today. Making these a little bigger too. These little half moon shapes. Oops, that one's a little skinny. And then the half a lemon seed, remember that? And then half a lemon seed, remember that? And then the fills, remember you gotta be careful with the fills. Don't just fill it in like it doesn't matter, because how you feel when you do a fill is what it communicates. So it's important to be mindful in your, look, not bad, not bad. So good. Okay, cool. Then we go up here. I'm gonna do some big ears. I'm not doing an ear like that. It looks like a horn. For our episode 42. I like it, it's cute. And then the hairs inside, hairs on both sides of the ears. I don't know if you can see that. You know, I think this ear needs to be a little bolder. And then some hair right here at the top. That's cool. And then a little bit of some shading right here. Some shading right here. And then some lines. Careful with my fills. And Space Cat is back. My son Raphael is the one that got me caught up in Space Cat. Oh, have I been? I'm sorry. Look, Space Cat. Pretty good. Pretty good. Check it out. Space Cat is back. And remember, when I started that whole thing, I didn't know how to do it. And I just persevered, persisted, resolved, committed. I just kept on going. And this is how we got to Space Cat. You just keep on drawing. This one has more of a cougar kind of feel to it. And so whatever it is that you do, if you just keep on doing it repetitively, keep on doing it. Practice thinking, how am I helping? Practice writing down spaces for everybody and telling everybody spaces for everybody. Practice remembering everything always works out. And that repetition will get you to the place exactly where you want to be, 100% guaranteed. I am proof of that for you. You, I love. You are amazing. You're going to go from these 40 classrooms that we put together, and you're going to carry all of this vision forward into the future. And you are going to be part of the reason this world and earth becomes what it has been intended to be the entire time. An amazing place, an example for the entire universe of what is possible. And you individually embody that idea. That's right. Being imperfect makes you perfect exactly as you are. Your beauty comes from inside. This entire time when I've been saying you're beautiful, it's come from inside you. It works its way out. And we express it with heart. You share those experiences with other people. You share with people that are going to receive them. When people love you, you tell them you love them back. If you love them back. If there's people who are really supporting you, let them know how much it means to you. That's going to mean the world to me forever and ever. And us doing that makes Earth a place worth being, and telling other human beings from other planets about, if we ever have that opportunity, make Earth wonderful, make Earth great again. Earth is already great, my people, and you are too. Let me rephrase that. Earth is precious. Earth is miraculous. I have no experience more amazing, more awesome in my thinking or knowledge than Earth. And you're here and I'm here at the same time. How special is that? Kilgore Trout, he's a character in this author named Kurt Vonnegut, who I love dearly. And he said, if this isn't good, I don't know what is. And that's what I say about you. If you're not good, I don't know what is. Because you are good. Thanks for being you. Thanks for sticking with us for 40 episodes. Let's see what comes next. I love you. Thanks for loving me back. Thanks for loving all the people that you love, and all the animals that you love, and all the flowers and plants and the earth that you love. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Lead the way. Follow me. Drive on. In the words of our people, how am I helping? Space is for everybody. Everything always works out. And pow, pow, pow.